All right, bud.
There you go.
I'm Toby Lee, and this is an illustration of the theory of differential association, with which I have some prior experience. I would like to lay down a couple of core tenets of the theory, a couple indispensable principles inherent in it before we start, and then I'll give a more comprehensive overview of the theory and its strengths and weaknesses. Two primary aspects of this theory are that crime is learned, criminalistic behaviors are learned through a process of socialization, be it from an individual or a new group, and also that both the methods and the motivations for committing the crimes are learned. So now we will get down to my illustration, which is pretty generic. I am an Picasso. First, we have a picture of Jim and Sarah. Jim and Sarah are newlyweds. Jim is a 28-year-old male, Sarah is a 28-year-old female. And in this illustration, the male will be the perpetrator of intimate partner violence and the female will be the recipient, because the literature suggests that that is most commonly the case. They have just gotten a new home and a mortgage. Jim has just graduated law school, and where they're happy, they're content people. So a little overview of Jim is he's just graduated law school, as I said. He's passed his bar exam, and he's feeling pretty good about life. They have a lot of mutual respect in their relationship. They both work, and Jim has just received a job at a very promising law firm. Sarah is Jim's newlywed wife. As I said, they have a good relationship with a healthy amount of fighting. She also works at the hospital as an RN. Now, Jim's new job is great, and it's everything he wanted it to be, but Jim is experiencing an exorbitant amount of stress. The bills are piling up. He's got new cases. He's the bottom rung of the at the law firm, and he's already experiencing a rift between him and his wife. Jim's wife calls on his office hour, and he picks up the phone and tells her he cannot talk right now, and he's not going to be there. He's going to miss their appointment for dinner, or maybe some kind of familial obligation, because he's going to have to be in the office till late. And this is where Jim's mentor, Gerald, who is a senior partner at the firm, comes in. He comes in and he explains to Jim that his wife knows better than to call him while he's at work. And Jim's starting to get a certain feel for the dynamic there. He tells him that it's just him trying to look out for him. He thinks he's a promising young lawyer, and he wants him to have every opportunity to succeed. Gerald is, like I said, the senior executive at the law firm, and Gerald is a very malicious man, truly. He has a lot of, I guess what you would call sort of apprentices within the office, and Gerald has a very unhappy wife who is the recipient of consistent verbal and at times physical abuse. We now go to Gerald and Jim in a restaurant having dinner with their wives. Gerald's wife expresses concern about the amount that Jim is drinking and about his lack of home life. And Samantha, Gerald's wife, concurs, and Jim yells at her basically very abruptly and curtly that she is not to engage in this conversation at the dinner table. Gerald then asks them to excuse them and takes her outside for a chat. Gerald is now out around the corner of the restaurant, and he's verbally abusing his wife, and he's being very short with her, very hateful. It gets somewhat heated. He's saying things like, "I can't believe you would embarrass me in front of my lawyers. We've talked about this. You wait till we get home." She is basically accepting it. She's grown accustomed to this behavior. Police officer walks by, asks what the problem is. Gerald says, "It's okay, I'm a lawyer." She's had too much to drink. And it all just kind of goes by the wayside. All the while, Jim is sitting around the corner, and he's listening to this. And he's coming to terms with the fact that this is actually working for Gerald. And this behavior is something that he may have to take into consideration, considering the strain that's been put on his relationship recently. Shortly thereafter, they're walking outside the restaurant. Everybody said their goodbyes, and they're trying to flag a taxi. And now Jim starts verbally abusing his wife, telling her things like, "I can't believe you would embarrass me in front of my boss. You're acting so stupid." And the voluntary verbal abuse of a significant other has been transferred from the larger collective to Jim. Differential association theory was designed in 1939 by Edwin Sutherland, who also coined the term white-collar crime. It was designed as a way to broaden the scope of criminalistic theory to include that of the effluent and the upper echelons of society. It is completely contingent upon the transfer of crime through as a learned behavior. It has a lot of strengths and weaknesses, and there's kind of a dichotomy there because many of the strengths are the weaknesses. For instance, it transcends the boundaries of socioeconomic status and gears it towards people as a whole and all economic statuses and social statuses within society. But in that, it lacks the ability to take into account factors that are very real that come with poverty and situations like that. It's also been criticized for not being able to explain why some people choose to adapt to the new behaviors they see in their occupation or things of that nature, and some people do not. Thank you. I hope this has been a good illustration.